We made it to day 9, folks. That's right, day 9, I'm gonna show you a couple disc dyeing techniques, and here we go. Before we get started, I do want to have everyone say hello to my lovely orange boy, Hollybean. He came to say hello before I got started, so he wanted to kind of make sure we had everything that we needed. But now that we do, we're going to jump right in. First one we're going to cover is the shaving cream mound dye method. I'd say it's probably the most beginner friendly of the bunch. You really only need the shaving cream, your dye medium, and a blank disc. So you're going to lather it up, throw some shaving cream in your basin. You're going to go ahead and knead the lather. Basically, the number one goal of that is to kind of work out as many of the air pockets as you can. And then you want to start forming that mound. That's going to kind of give you that star effect. With this dye, kind of like the Millennium Falcon going into hyperspeed. So name of the game here is to get it as smooth as possible. I mean, I may be going a little overboard here, but using an old gift card to kind of smooth out those edges. Yeah, a little OCD. It doesn't have to be that perfect. Next up, you're going to get the dye that you're using. Traditionally, this is done with a more powder dye. Didn't have that on hand, so we're using RIT synthetic. It's important to use synthetic because the other kind of RIT will not stick to the disc. So as you see here, I'm using gloved hands because you don't want to get this dye on your fingers. And I'm really just kind of spraying and dropping it onto this mound here, and then kind of 360, get a good amount of coverage. I went with two colors just to kind of give it a little more depth. We're going with blue and a little bit of gray. But as you can see here, it's just kind of like a speckled pattern. And now here we have a JLS from Millennium Golf Discs, one of Nick Hansen's clinic discs from 2023. And that's going to be this video's giveaway. That's right, folks. This video's giveaway is going to be a custom dyed JLS from Millennium by yours truly. So as you can see here, I am pressing down on the mound here. That's going to kind of give that line effect, that again going into hyperspace. You also took notice that I'm kind of tapping the back of the disc with the card. That's kind of my method of kind of getting some of the air bubbles out, or trying to anyway. uh, and before we jump over to the next technique, we're going to say hi to Holly again. He had to get his pats before leaving, but he is a good boy, so when I told him to get down, he did. All right, next up, second technique. This is a more advanced technique. This is a glue bed dye, and the goal here is to generate some cells. So first step is you're going to take your glue, mix a little bit of water there in the bottle just so that you could use up as much of your medium as possible. I like to use a measuring cup because it kind of gives me an idea. Typically, one full measuring cup from the Dollar Tree. That's where I picked up most of these supplies, except the dye themselves. I got those on special on Amazon. But yeah, I kind of want to go with like a smooth, semi viscous uh, kind of feel. You can see here. It's not too thick, not too thin, but roughly one of these one of these measuring cups is these three um, solo cups here. I like to mix in solo cups just because they're easy to wash out. I had a bunch of them in the moment, so I just kind of rinse them and reuse them over and over again. I'm evenly distributing the glue mixture here that I had, and as you can see, I'm going with purple, pink, and blue. We're going to kind of jump in the blue, give it a shake, one full cap. I'd like to start little and then kind of add as I need. So I try to get, the initial mix with the glue just right and then add one capful. You notice I did go maybe 3/4 of a cap with the purple just because that's such a heavy dye. Just knowing that from experience. A little goes a long way in a lot of these instances. So you want to mix these up real good, see if it's still giving you the consistency that you need. And then what we're doing here is just double checking. I'm noticing that I don't quite have it just right, so I'm adding little capfuls of water here and there just to make sure. Again, it's easier to add little bits at a time than it is to subtract. So you kind of want to keep a consistency. Now, I did realize I didn't quite have enough glue. So as you can see here, I did have to mix some more, and I did mix a little bit too much. So this bed does have a little extra, but that's okay because I'm going to reuse it anyway. But you're going to evenly distribute this, and it looks like I put a little extra in with the purple just to dilute that a little bit. But as of right now, these are just about getting to where I want them. So, as you can see, I just put another half cap of the blue just to give it a little bit more rich color. That purple is really deep. Now, I'm putting a couple drops of that silicone oil in there. That's going to be what produces the cells. The more you mix it, the smaller the cells are. And I almost forgot to add the Floetrol. That is a paint retardant. It basically helps prevent the glue from setting. Some people use that as their main medium for this method, and the results are really great. However, that could get really expensive. So this is kind of more on the low. I got this small bottle here for probably like under $10 from Home Depot. But again, mostly everything else in my dye station is from Dollar Tree. Um, so again, just adding a little bit here. I was kind of running out. That was seems to be the end of the bottle there. And then we're gonna kind of give her another little mix just to make sure. All right. So now we're all set. We're going to grab another fourth cup and we're going to just start layering these colors however you really see fit. Now, I put the silicon in the purple, so I wanted to have that be the primary base. So I am separating each layer with purple. Now, this is a risky decision just because purple is such a deep color for all this. Here we are here at the end of the layering process, giving the last little bit of blue there. I think it looks pretty cool so far. And then now I'm trying something new here this time, adding the silicone before I do the flip cup method. And this is the tricky part. You want to take your receptacle, make it flush with the rim of the glass, create a pretty good seal, and give it a little flip. And just like a pro, not a drop spilled. And from here, it is important to kind of work the cup around the basin a little bit just to kind of get a little bit of that medium into it and pull up. Half the fun of this method is also just the randomization of your design. So, as you can see there, some cell work had started to develop, looking pretty good. Kind of zhuzhing it around here a little bit to manipulate the design a tad bit. And as you can see, they're very small cells. After some time of them setting, this is kind of what we came up with. And I wasn't too fond of it, if I'm being honest. So I kind of wanted to jazz it up a little bit. So I took the blue and the pink and just kind of splattered some there on top to give it more of a speckled texture on top of the marbling that the flip cup itself gave. So just kind of working in layers. Looks like I hit it maybe with some purple as well. Giving it a spin that's going to elongate some of those speckles, randomize them a little bit further, and just let it sit again. I wanted to typically this is much easier with a straw, so you can pinpoint where exactly your breath is hitting. But this is a really good way to get more of like a rippled effect. As you can see, the surface tension of it is rippling here. And after a little bit of time setting, you hit the top of it with a creme brulee torch. That helps facilitate getting some of the bubbles out of the medium to get less dropouts on the design. And here we have our disc. It's a 2023 Philadelphia Open. I believe it's a pine. And we're going to go ahead and start on one side and just lay it down, making sure that you minimize as much of the air pockets as possible. Nice and easy. You also want to kind of think about how the layout is going to be on the disc. So, like where you see the design, where you want that on the disc. Tapping the back of it here with that old gift card just to kind of double check the air pockets. And then I seal her up and set her aside. Typically, it takes about 24 hours of sit time to essentially get through and have it set the best. I think with Rit dye and not using like heat as an additive, you definitely want to have it sit longer than not. And I got no reveal for you, folks. You're just going to have to wait and be surprised. So, if you are the winner of this video's giveaway, you are going to have the custom dyed disc at your doorstep. And when you open it up, it will be a surprise. So, go ahead and post a photo of it when you get it so that you could show it off to the rest of the public. And if you tag us in our socials, we'll share it to help make sure everybody else can see it as well. Let's see. To win this disc, can you tell us, since this is a pretty artistic project that I took us all on, which art school did Chris and I meet? Super easy. Let us know in the comments, and we will randomly pick someone in the comments to win the custom disc. Stay tuned for the Philly Open disc because that's going to be a giveaway for the Philly Open coverage that's coming out soon. So, all this stuff ties in, folks, but we really appreciate you following along on these 12 days of Gatekeeper Media Christmas, and we will see you on the next one.